All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening. We're just going to get started in a few minutes here. Hang tight with us. We're going to give it just a second to let people join. Um, what do you like? What is happening? You have like a little Zoom on your.
Just, yeah, I think it's called auto zoom or something. It just
Oh,
goes,
really?
it goes
Huh.
wherever I go, I think. I don't know.
That's funny. Um, and that's registration. So,
Cool.
all right. We'll give it just a couple more minutes here as everyone is joining. You'll notice that your camera is off and you are muted. That is kind of how the setup is supposed to be. We'll go through how to ask questions here in just a moment. I see some familiar faces here.
Same, yeah.
Dr. Smith, Dr. Schlosky, some new ones as well. Thank you, everyone. We'll wait until about 5 after to get started here. So how is the weather in New Mexico? Is it hot? It's super
It's
hot
not bad.
here.
It's like
Oh,
80,
really?
92. It's not bad at all.
Oh, it's
Like
92 here too.
running today. Okay, Texas 92 is very different from New Mexico 92, is what
Okay.
I've realized over
Okay.
these years.
Yeah.
I don't
In
know, my dad said,
Indiana, 92 is like super humid and
yeah.
like miserable 92. I imagine New Mexico being drier.
Oh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
way drier. So it's like kind
Okay.
of pleasant. Like it's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, my dad said it was 100 in New York today.
Wow.
That they're visiting. I'm like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
I feel like
How
it's
can that
hot
be?
everywhere. Yeah. I have one of my best friends lives in Spain. I think we've talked about that. And she was talking about how like they're getting a huge heat wave as well, and they don't have like air conditioning or anything.
That's a hot
So
topic right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's up in the mountains, so it's a little bit cooler where she's at, but it's warm.
Okay. Yeah, your France is struggling with the no AC.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. All right. Well, before we get started here again, we're gonna give a couple more minutes. If you want to put in the chat box where you're from, I always like to hear where everyone's from. I think Dr. Smith is from Texas, so I think he's not far from you, Lane. Yep.
I think he is. Yeah, Dr. Smith is up in,
Yeah. McKinney.
yeah, McKinney. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on it.
Not creepy at all that we know this about you.
Nope.
Yeah.
Dr. Slosky is in Colorado and New York, I think. Palm Desert, California, and New.
Hi, Dr. Delacqua.
Hi.
She might be on a, I think she was on a road trip recently, like in an RV. Hi.
Palm Desert, California, and North Carolina. We have a couple like commuters
Atlantic to Pacific. There you go.
across the
Yeah.
country with 5 kids under 10. Wow, very cool. I bet that was a great memory.
Oh, yeah. Sure. That was awesome.
Yeah. I feel like that's always Lane and I's conversations of what we're doing with the kids.
Right. Yeah. It's how are we, what crazy adventure are we trying to take him on?
Right. That's exciting. Yeah, we just took our first plane trip with a 9-month old, and I felt like that was
Ooh.
that was a big adventure. I can imagine across the country with 5 kids under 10. So we just got back last week.
How'd it go?
Great. She did great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She like one
That's
one
hit or
week she
miss.
slept almost the whole way. I know. Great. She did so great. We were so lucky. But 2.5 hour plane ride versus, across the country, that's a whole different story.
A little different, yeah. Where'd you go?
To Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All
Fun, huh?
right. Yeah, yeah, it was all fun. All right, everyone. I think we're gonna get started here. As I had mentioned, your cameras are off and you are muted. So we'll talk about how to get some questions answered. I know there's a few questions that have come in regarding that. So we'll get started and we'll review that in just a moment. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us this evening. I know there's a lot of familiar faces here. We do these webinars monthly on various topics related to sleep TMJ or marketing in these areas. So, we always love to have you back every month. And we're excited to have you join us this evening as well. If there's ever any topics you'd like us to cover, any specific questions you may have that maybe doesn't pertain to this webinar, feel free to reply to the confirmation email or send us a chat. We're happy to look into adding that to our lineup for the month or for the year. Like I had mentioned, with your or with you being on mute, you're welcome to utilize the question and answer box or the chat feature, either or whatever is easier for you to ask questions throughout the webinar. Lane loves questions. We love making this interactive. This will be more of an interview style discussion with Lane and I. So very casual. So make sure you put those questions in. We can add them to our lineup of questions we already have, just so that we can continue that discussion and get anything that you maybe want to answer covered today. Our topic is why your sleep leads aren't becoming patients and how do we fix it? So we know that's a huge question we hear every single day here at True Function. So we're excited to have Lane address that and help you guys with your practice and kind of taking everything to the next level. So before we get started here, I want to introduce our dear friend at True Function, Lane Rizzardini. So empower yourself as a dental authority on sleep apnea and watch your patient base, referral network, and revenue soar under the expert guidance of Lane Rizzardini. With over 13 years of marketing experience and a plethora of accolades to his name, Lane is your go-to resource for building and expanding your sleep brand. Having collaborated with industry giants and fearlessly taking on the competition, Lane's expertise knows no bounds. Based in Dallas, Texas, which he may have moved since then, Lane, alongside his beautiful family, passionately supports his favorite Chicago sports teams from afar. Trust Lane to equip you with the tools needed to become a local authority in the realm of sleep apnea and witness the transformative growth of your practice. Lane is the co-founder of Sleep Apnea Leads, which helps dentists build and grow sleep brands that find, attract, and help convert leads to delivered appliances. They are your complete digital marketing solution that knows sleep like no one else, with strategies designed not only to drive sleep patients, but assist in developing ND referral partnerships. So welcome, Lane. We're always so excited to do this every year. Thank you for joining us and taking your evening away from your family on your vacation to sit with us this evening and help our clients.
Absolutely. Happy to be
Yeah.
here.
Excellent. So we're going to dive right in with our first question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So you came into dental sleep almost by accident and ended up specializing in it. Can you share a little bit about that and what did you learn early on about marketing sleep apnea that most agencies and most dentists get wrong?
Yeah, when we first started out, we were a more generalist marketing agency. So we worked with a lot of different types of local service-based businesses. And we fell into sleep via a referral from one of our existing clients. And we found it to be really, really interesting, something we had not heard of before. Who knew that dentists treated sleep apnea? Everyone's hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
And uh, we, the thing early on that we found out, honestly, when we started, like we did really well. I mean, the leads were coming in like crazy. I mean, we were getting like 100 a month, no problem at all. Um, and we get on these calls and we were high-fiving and thinking everything was going really great. and we'd
Yeah.
have all the calls recorded, all the form submissions. We could see everything. We're like, hey, this is going really well. And we'd have our meeting with the doctor, who's still a client, actually, after 5 years, 6 years now. And he said, guys, I see the spreadsheet. Like, this all looks very real, very legit. Like, I get it, but like, I've only had two of these patients hit my chair and get through a delivered appliance. And I only had like one from last month. And so he said, while I think you guys are probably doing your job, like this isn't converting into patients,
Yeah.
and which is how I make money. And so like we can't continue to do this unless we like fix what's going on here.
Sure.
And so the two things that kind of came out of that, one thing you already knew was that having like recordings of all of your phone calls with new
Mm-hmm.
patients
Mm-hmm.
and just inbound everything is really important.
Sure.
Um, is it allows you to go back and see, hey, if something's going wrong, like how is my team answering the phone? And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we're talking like in sleep here, we're talking about their dental teams typically that are doing a new thing in sleep that is very different in like a lot of different ways. And sometimes they just don't know how to talk about it right off the bat.
Sure.
They don't know how to answer financial questions as well. And so having these recordings and being able to hear kind of what everyone's talking about can help kind of handle some of those like, hey, these people should be patients and they're not, because we're not answering these questions the right way. And so
Sure.
that was one half of the issue in that first scenario. But the other one was that we just found out that the patients are really how do I say they're just like they have no urgency to go through the
Yeah.
process.
Absolutely.
And it's because like in most things you either like want it, like you want, I don't know, like a new car or something like that, so you go and get it. You get a wedding ring, whatever. There's needs, right? So like a painful tooth is a need, something like that. Sleep kind of falls in this weird category of like it's like annoying, not painful, and
Mm-hmm.
you can
They
kind
don't
of
know
tell
the severity a lot.
you don't know the severity. You kind of don't know it's killing you like the whole time, and like
Right.
you're not awake for the symptoms. You don't hear yourself snore. That's kind of your wife's problem, and so you can put it off very easily for like a lot of various reasons. And
Mm-hmm.
so the secret was not like leads were easy. It was the follow-up portion of it and how quickly you follow up and how you follow up, what mediums you're using to follow up to get them in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most, and when you follow up, like times in the point of the year are very important to getting actual leads turned to patients. And really, like, really no other marketing agencies, there's very few that have a system like this at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of them have just opted out of doing sleep because, again, they're doing their job getting leads, right?
Sure.
We've just taken the next step to also help with the conversion side as well. And so having something that, yeah, you got to have your EMR, right? But that's not going to convert. That's where you converse with patients that are already patients, right? There's this system,
Yeah.
they don't have email marketing and text automations
Sales training.
or leads, right? And so you got to
Yeah.
have this like thing that fits on the front of your EMR that takes the lead and turns it into a patient that then goes into your EMR. And so
Sure.
that's what we built and have continued to kind of iterate on over time uh, with well, gosh, now it has, you didn't used to have AI. Now it has AI involved. Now
Sure.
it has physician outreach involved. Like it has all, we've kind of just continued to build in these use cases for dentists as our clients have requested things. And we've said, sure, like let's build it because we want to build great, like helpful things for this space.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's a great answer. I always joke that, it's a whole different type of train. Like it's just a whole different type of training. Like it's something completely new. And that's where that, like, I think when clinicians and teams kind of get that switch that like this is a completely different service, great things start happening. You know what I mean? And um that's where that change happens. So yeah, that's great. So, with the dentist listening right now wants to grow their sleep side of their practice, before we touch a single ad, how should they be thinking about positioning? Like, what makes the practice an obvious place for a patient or a physician to send their sleep cases?
Well, I'll tell you what's not obvious, unfortunately, is being a dentist.
Hmm.
Right? Like,
Hmm.
so that's like the challenge right off the bat is as a dentist, it's just not obvious for people to send you patients, or for patients to like see your website and think, oh, sleep. Like we just don't associate, like the general public just doesn't associate those two things yet, and so it's very easy to waste a lot of money running advertising and marketing to a dental site with what probably has one page about sleep on it, and it's kind of a general covers all the bases, which we'll talk I think probably talk about later with like
Hmm.
sleep patients are very different at different stages.
Yeah.
Um, you're going to waste a lot of money doing that and potentially waste a lot of time and effort going out to physicians uh, that maybe don't know you personally, trying to get them to send you patients. They're going to immediately assume you don't take medical insurance. They're going to make a lot of assumptions about you,
Hmm.
generally. And so the way that we handle that is we build a separate sleep brand and website and entity entirely around sleep. Um,
Hmm.
it can be a DBA. A lot of times it's a whole separate legal entity anyways, if you're, filing insurance, and being in network for insurance anyways. And so what we build, like we name it, the Sleep Apnea Center of Connecticut, and it has its own
Okay.
site, and it's got its own set of 10 to 15 pages that are all about sleep. It talks about your AADSM status, or on your dental site, you may not emphasize that as much. It's going to talk about insurance. It's going to talk about testing, the dangers of sleep apnea. It's going to have a physician referral page. Uh, Kind of all of these things are very sleep specific, not hiding that you're a dentist. You
Hmm.
want to, some areas you're kind of emphasizing, like, this is why we're different than a normal sleep lab. You're not gonna have to come in for 3 nights or at least a night and do a test. Like, we're gonna send you a home sleep test and everything's gonna be
Hmm.
virtual. And then, because we're a dentist, like this is the type of, solution that we offer. And that's why we're a different option
Consultant
than you're used
basis.
to. Right. And
Yeah.
so you don't hide it. But it definitely paints the impact that like, oh, this is an expert and this is someone that is
Hmm.
serious in this space.
Correct.
It's why we're sleep apnea leads, right? Like we built a sleep brand, right?
Right.
Like otherwise we go to shows and people would be like, like I don't know what
Yeah.
you guys do or why you're special. And so that's how. And then you got to have your Google business page for it, and Yelp and Apple Maps and social media and kind of all the things people expect to see. And then you can brand all your materials when you go to offices with that.
Hmm.
And so I think that's why you really showcase and demonstrate that you're an expert in this field. You're serious about it. It's not, just one, service line and a menu of other like dental things that you're trying to do all at once. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's typically how we would showcase that, and then it's night and day difference. Like
Yeah.
like how many leads we get, how many actually convert. Um,
Hmm.
Honestly, how much visibility Google gives us online. Like it's not even close. Like it's hard. Like to rank as a dentist, in most areas of the country for sleep terms is basically impossible, because there's sleep clinics and like Google's going to show experts, and so
Yeah.
to do it, it's like having content, having a name, having all these things around sleep really helps you like get in front of patients, get those patients to reach out to you, and actually get them to say, okay, this is the right choice for me and want to move forward.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, I will have clinicians say to me, I'm implementing sleep and TMD, right? Because we do both here at True Function. And they'll say, TMD is easy, it's off the ground, that type of thing. And why are my sleep cases not converting? And I think that's where, again, back to that whole mind shift, they expect dentists to handle, grinding joint pain, all of that. But when it comes to sleep, that's not their first thought. And so, that's a great way to put it, of like setting it apart. You know what I mean? It's so important. Um,
So on that one other point too, like so we have clients that do sleep and TMJ together, and it works pretty
yeah,
well. It's just two
yeah,
things. The difference with the TMJ is that goes back to annoying versus painful. Like
yes,
TMJ is painful, right?
painful.
Like people are getting it like done, and it's getting like I talked to Dr. Gelb about this at like a Nearman conference one time where he actually does mostly TMJ. It's just like so because
Yeah.
it's so painful. Like, yeah, those people move forward faster than your sleep
Hmm.
patients do. Sleep patients, you have to really work them a little more.
Sure.
Um, and then obviously once you treat them, it's like, oh my gosh, they see the light and everything is now wonderful. But
They
like
feel
getting
better.
them there
Hmm.
is just harder.
Hmm. Yeah, I know sometimes too, as like on the clinical side, it's so hard to see that, and you're like, this will help you so much with all of your comorbidities. Like, let's just move forward. So getting that, conveying that to the patient is always so important. So you talk a lot about the difference between leads and getting patients in the chair. So where does that gap actually open up, and why do so many practices spend money on the marketing and never shows up as a booked case?
It shows up at the point of contact. So when they fill out a form or
Sure.
when they've called you, basically,
Yeah.
right? And it's really like what happens right then and there. So in the case of like, so we always emphasize you get a lot of marketing companies that want to run funnels or something like that that'll like go right to a form, right? And then you have to go reach out. We're big phone call people, like phone number everywhere, because a
Yeah.
phone call like has a 100% contact rate. You will have a chance to get in front, talk to that patient if you
Absolutely.
answer your phone. Just answer your phone. And I mean, they're there. They have urgency. They want to call you right now, right? You're
Yeah.
not having to like guess when they're going to be available to take the form submission call, right?
Right.
They're out of yeah, right. So we love phone calls. Sarah now does voice, and so Sarah answers the phone 24/7 now. So that's cool. And then she'll book people to get a call back later.
Will you
Um,
explain who Sarah
Sarah is our sleep
is?
appointment referral agent. Yeah, I probably should explain that. So
Yeah.
Sarah, um, yeah, Sarah is our AI for sleep. Traditionally, the in our patient conversion system, that's kind of our, leads come in, they go into the system, our CRM for sleep, and then they immediately get a text message from Sarah, and it's Sarah from the Sleep Apnea Center of Connecticut. And hey, I saw, is this the right number? Yes. Okay, I saw you looking for alternatives to your CPAP. We offer oral appliance therapy here, which patients typically love. Would you like to think about that? Would you like to learn more? Um, Sarah will answer questions for the patient about sleep, about the office, and then she'll ask questions about insurance, testing, whatever you want. And the goal is to move them towards scheduling a 15-minute callback with someone in the office. So why is that really critical? So this is the gap, right? Like in most scenarios, um, people can't sleep and they fill out a form, and then at some point later, someone in your office sees the form submission and they call, and usually they get voicemail. Why? For two reasons. Everyone's really busy, and two, we don't answer calls from unknown numbers anymore. And also, like that was 12 hours ago. I may have called someone else by now. I may
Yeah.
have um, decided I'm going to use melatonin instead. I may have found like a Snore RX on Amazon and I'm going to use that, right? Like, and so Sarah is having something that responds in the first 5 minutes to a inquiry will increase your conversion rate like 8 times. Like huge, huge, dramatic increase in the amount of leads that actually get converted into patients and delivered appliances. And so this could be simply because you get someone gets a response that's like really conversational, engages them, answers their questions, they feel like they're taken care of. They're not just trying to move on to the next person that's going to give them an answer. But then also scheduling that callback with you make sure it puts the questions about like financials, everything in your hands, right? But then now instead of your staff playing phone tag, trying to figure out when this person's available, um, these patients have now, okay, I know that I need to call Susie at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, that she's going to be available. She's not picking up her kids from school. She's not at a meeting at work. Like I know she's available, and now she knows to expect a call from an unknown number. She'll have
Mhm.
received reminders about it. She'll know what number's going to call her. And so you just get like dramatically more conversations with patients and without all of the phone tag and time of trying to
Mhm.
like guess when they're available, right?
Mhm.
And so that's where I think the big the gap can be solved with a lot of these tools that we have now. AI obviously being really helpful, but even before AI, I mean, it was just automated email scheduling tools, like that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, Getting people to actually commit to, talking to a human being,
Hmm.
is kind of the key. And then, like you said, and then from there, it's okay, now down the stack of how well are those calls going, right? Are people
Hmm.
answering the phone?
Hmm.
Are they not answering? Are they answering questions, right?
Sure.
Is your staff doing well with that? Even if they are doing really well, not there's never been in the history of business, there's never been a business that converted at 100% ever,
Hmm.
right? Like patients, there's a bunch of patients that will say no, maybe, or like let me think about it, right? And
Hmm.
so what just excuse me, so that's why we built in long-term follow-ups, right? Like that's
Yeah.
okay. Like someone's deductible might be really high right now. Guess what? In 2 months, they may have used that deductible on something unexpected, and now
Yeah.
their price is covered,
Let's
right?
take advantage
They
of it. Yeah.
Right, but they forgot about you. They forgot about the whole thing with the
Hmm.
sleep thing. And so giving Sarah text them back,
Hmm.
hey, have you thought, or last time we talked, it wasn't the right time. It is, yeah, sometimes things do change, and
Hmm.
they say, oh yeah, like I do want to do that now. Or like the worst thing they can say is no, and then
Right.
they just say no, and then not to you. You don't care.
But you're still in their reminders. You're still right in front of them.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
so that's the other area where like there's the gap is that we're not doing enough follow up
Hmm.
ongoing, right? We're not staying in front of them long term, and not staying in front of them at the points that they are, that may be the most important throughout the year, right? It's like
Hmm.
insurance deductible at the like end of year, use it or lose it. Insurance deductible follow up things like anybody that said no at the beginning of the year because of financial reasons, like you got to
Sure.
follow all of those people at the end of the year because
Yeah.
by the end of the year they've used their deductible, something's changed, their symptoms got worse.
Sure.
We've automated that. A lot of the big offices, like first of all, this wasn't our idea. Like we just talked to a bunch of big offices and they were like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, we just call all these people." And
Yeah.
we're like, oh my gosh, you call these people? Like,
Right.
so most like starting offices can't do that. And so we just like automated it, right? Just
Yeah.
make the
Yeah.
emails, text messages. So we just built the whole system so that and the end of year, like if you're using our CRM correctly, it'll just happen automatically
Yeah.
for you. And so that brings a ton of patients back in at the end of the year.
Sure.
It's why you guys have to tell people like what is the last day that you can like submit a case, right?
Right.
This is what everybody's doing,
So
right?
important. Yeah.
So if you're not like you're sitting on so much great data that you could be utilizing right now for like
Hmm.
no ad money, right? This isn't like giving Google anything. Like
Yeah.
it's not that much money to plug these patients in and do some automated reach out. So
Yeah.
as long as your system is HIPAA compliant and all of that. So
Sure.
and then then the other bottleneck that we have always found is in testing. So you can get patients to like have the fall and everything will sound great, and then you'll send them out for a home sleep test, or you'll send them to a physician, and then you will never hear from them again. And we hear
Hmm.
this like a frustrating amount of time because that because we're like, geez, we've done a lot of work and we still can't get them through the pipeline. And
Sure.
that's again, we built another automation for this to like follow up with patients that are in the testing process. And I know like all the big testing providers do also have their own automations that really follow up deeply. And I would even do your own follow up there as well. Because
Hmm.
once you have, man, if you can just convince someone to get the test done for like, and be like, it's not even expensive, guys. Like it's like $150 to find out like how, badly you're sleeping and like, oh, geez, you're like choking on your own tongue like 75 times a night. Like that, it sounds bad, right? It really illustrates like what's going on to
Yeah.
people that just like are not aware because they're sleeping. And so, man, if you can just get people tested, um, that's where I think things get a lot easier to get them through. But yeah, there's a
Yeah.
big the communication up to that point is very important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I see like, yeah, like you kind of in some ways like broke it down into three sections that I feel like is I see every day with with clinicians that I'm dealing with is like the texting portion. I'm seeing so many clinicians that want to text. We all know patients want to text, finding a way of communication that's easy for them. That sometimes, phones are great, but that initial communication sometimes not having to them have to pick up the phone in that moment and finding a time with like a scheduling assistant or something until they're available. Finding a time they're available to sit down on the phone, but in the meantime, find something that's easy. Texting is great because as we know, everyone deletes their emails. You know what I mean? It's just not a great way to communicate anymore. And so,
Or just
texting is
ignores them,
really
or they just ignore them entirely, right? Like everyone's
yeah,
got
or their
15,000
junk emails.
emails.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, the stats are like 95% open rates on text.
yeah,
You get like an average 3-minute response rate or something like that. I
yeah,
think emails are like 20% response rate at best.
yeah,
Uh, and so it's just, we're trying to ruin texting like really hard. Like I don't know about you guys.
yeah,
I get all the political email, text messages. Like we're doing our best to ruin it,
yeah.
but until then, uh, it's the
It's a
thing that
great way to
people will
communicate.
actually response
Hmm.
to, and so that's why Sarah is text message based, and that's why it works so well. Is
Hmm.
that yeah, people don't ignore it, and it's like texting with a friend, right?
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah,
chat bot, right? Like it's not on
yeah,
a
yeah,
website
yeah,
or live in some weird medium somewhere else. Like no, it's
yeah,
like in their iMessages. It's
yeah,
so that's really important. And um, yeah, I don't need to talk
yeah.
about texting opt-ins and stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah, and that third component that you're talking about is follow up, and I think that's a huge one where I've seen things fall through the cracks. Is like that initial contact. Don't drop it there. You know what I mean? Constantly be in front of these patients. Follow up with them if they've inquired and they don't move forward. Have a regular follow up scheduled. If they have a sleep study and they don't communicate with you, follow up. Like I cannot stress that enough. Follow up, have a good follow up protocol. Is that texting? Is that even calling? Is that sending them a postcard? In the mail. I'm just doing as much as you can to make sure that your name is in front of them. So when that time comes, if it's not today, they're ready, you know what I mean, um, they're ready to move forward. So yeah. Oh gosh, now I got to remember where that was my question. um, Sleep patients are different compared to the typical dental patient. Low urgency, higher price point, and lots of them think it's CPAP or nothing. Walk us through the decision journey a sleep patient might go through and how a dentist should be marketing differently at each stage.
yeah, so we always see there's three distinct stages to the sleep treatment decision journey. One is do I have sleep apnea? Or I like Mark Murphy's framing of this, which was like, do I have to do something about this?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, which I thought was interesting. Like, oh, like yeah, you're looking for some sort of, they're deciding if they need to take action. And I like to say, is it dangerous? And your goal is with your content, they're looking for symptoms, dangers. Do I have this thing basically? And your job or the website's job or your advertising's job is to showcase that it is dangerous and it will shorten their life and they need to get tested.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right? Like, and also the call to action is either on our sites, it's take a little screener, right? Like give us your symptoms, kind of stats about you, and then we'll use that to talk with you about, okay, yeah, like those are like 5 of the 10 signs. Like you need to
Mm-hmm.
probably should get a test, right? But yeah, the
This is
call to
great to put
action
on your
is
dental screening. So every single patient that walks through the door, they have those questions asked.
yep, yeah. We use stop bang, Epworth, something like that would all work
Sure.
great. It's giving you just some ammunition to work with as far as like, okay, yeah, you probably honestly, if they're snoring, they need to get tested. Like period.
Mm-hmm.
And really, but then like that's the key call to action though, is it's not treatment. You're not talking about CPAP. You're not talking about oral appliance therapy at that point. You're just like, let's just get you tested.
Yeah.
Don't worry about you. Oh, you're worried what this is going to cost? Like, I don't know. You may not have it. So like, I'm not going to tell you what it costs yet. Like, maybe you just
Yeah.
need to like lose like 20 pounds and then like you're fine. Like, the cost is not really like relevant yet of treatment, just get tested and let's see what we're dealing with. And then we will direct you, and we can direct you on like what's the next correct step. Maybe you're so severe that like we need to send you out for a CPAP. Like maybe, yeah, like you said you need to lose weight. Maybe you're fine. And like maybe something else would help. But we need to find out. And so like don't I think a big mistake there is like getting too far ahead of yourself and in your copy about like talking about really about treatment options. Like, no, just get
Mhm.
tested. Like, let's just focus on this part. Otherwise, the patients get kind of overwhelmed and they don't even want to start the process because they're worried about what they're going to find out that it is. And so,
Sure.
um, that's stage one. Stage two is I'm ready to get tested. And so at that stage, we get like this is one of the more popular like online marketing. We get a lot of testing searches. This is like one of the ones that's most frequently people like sign up and like want to learn more and get a form submission or a phone call or something. Just because, and we just all know the stats. Like I think it's like I don't know how many people like aren't get just aren't. Most of America has sleep apnea and hasn't been tested, right? So like yes, like
Sure.
everyone would love to only have like alternative to CPAP patients, but the reality is that like most of your potential patient base like needs to get tested first. And
Hmm.
so, like, that's a lot of what we find people searching for online. And your goal is to showcase that you have a very is just is easy and affordable, right? And so, like, in not, I remember getting trying to get a sleep lab test, and I called this like four locations from the same like hospital group, and they all gave me different prices, and they were all like $1,500 to get like an in-lab sleep test. And
Sure.
I was so confused. Just mostly I was confused that like all of them had different prices. And maybe I was just naive. Maybe it's a naive consumer, but I was like, what? You're all the same company. Like, why do you have different prices at every location? To then pay, 10x what a home test costs to then leave my family overnight to let my wife make my wife do kid put down to then go
Mhm.
to this thing. Like I can see why most people don't want to do it. Like your
Yeah.
test is very easy. I'm going to ship it to your house. A lot of times you
Yeah.
can just throw it away after, depending on who you
Yeah.
use, and you can and like you get it's on an app, and like everyone loves getting the stats on an app, and
Mhm.
and then like someone does a virtual call with you, and it's like how easy is that?
Mhm.
And so I think if you just like really drive home that portion of it, you can get a lot of those people at that stage to just move forward. And again, like you said, that's the critical stage. Is like if you can get
Mhm.
them to get tested to now have the results about like, wow, like this is what's actually going on, and like being able to describe it with the statistics is I think is way more powerful, um, and helps build a compelling case to move forward and makes the money kind
Sure.
of seem less
Make more
bad.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then our third stage is I need treatment or better treatment. And so
Sure.
pretty self-explanatory there, right? People are looking for, okay, like what are the treatment options? Or I need, alternative to CPAP, right? And I think that's really where we're trying to emphasize, we're trying to show pictures of appliances. And so I think like, when you have models in the office, this is big, like people know what a CPAP looks like, I think generally. They may not know what it feels like, but
Mhm.
they've all seen the images, right? Of like this big
Mhm.
thing in their face. And most of them kind of dread it. They have friends that have it that probably don't like it, may not like it. And I think being able to showcase like a like true function, like a really well-made appliance,
Mhm.
and showcase like because the word appliance or like device can be kind of like an appliance like a dishwasher or like an appliance
Yeah.
like what is this
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
And it's like just showcasing that's like no, it's like it's really small and lightweight and like
Mhm.
silent and kind of nice and it's just I think that really helps again ease more of like oh this is going to be easy to do like
Mhm.
easy there's no mechanical pieces in here there's no like I don't have to
Mhm.
charge it at night like it just
Yeah.
kind of works and I put it in my mouth
Yeah.
and like and then we're gonna see how well it's working later right and so
Mhm.
I think that like really helps with kind of the oh yeah this is the treatment option that I really want to pursue
Hmm.
because this looks and
Simpler.
feels like kind of the, why wouldn't
Hmm.
I want this option, right,
For
over the
sure.
alternatives, right? Um,
Yeah.
and so sometimes, so some sites we do lay out some of the other options as well, and we lay out pros and cons, and we try to lay out those pros and cons like really honestly as well,
Hmm.
right? I mean, because
Hmm.
again, this is medical world, like we want to do the best thing for the patient, and so yeah, like not all patients are good fits, and so we try to be really honest, but I think that also builds, I think that builds trust when
Sure.
you can tell someone like, hey, like this is a really good option for most of our patients, but like, if you had tested X, like you wouldn't want this would you would need a CPAP for that or dual therapy or something like that. And I just think that
Sure.
like breeds like objectivity instead of like, oh, this is just a dentist trying to upsell me on something, you know?
Sure.
Uh, and so I think those are the really important pieces to really showcase that during those three stages.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I actually have a clinician that has a shelf in each of his operatories that has a styrofoam head with a CPAP mask and the devices on models next to it. Because he'll get patients that say, "Why do you have a CPAP mask? You're a dentist." And it starts the conversation. And then he'll be like, here are the devices. This is the alternative. And it's just a mask. It doesn't even have the unit. It's just the mask with the hose on a like a styrofoam, display, but just for that conversation starter. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really there are that's a really good one. There's a few. I'm gonna steal that one actually because we have a couple of other like things that we talk about in office marketing to existing
Yeah,
patients. There's some
yeah,
tricks that you can do. Like if you're just getting started, like you're not doing
yeah,
digital marketing and stuff. Like you're doing your inpatients first,
yeah,
and you don't have to run Google ads to reach them. Like they're in your office, they're in your chair
yeah,
already. It's like what are like the weird things that you can put out there so, to kind of get them to engage you on it
yeah.
and
I think
use
we
the
have some questions
demonstrators.
too that are kind of kind of in realm of that in just a moment too. So I think
Yeah.
that'll you should elaborate on that because I know where you're going with that. Um, when it comes to a lot of dentists believe growth comes from physician referrals and then get frustrated when they lose those referrals or they dry up or they never start. What's the realistic role of physician referrals marketing versus marketing directly to the patients and how to build that pipeline that isn't at the mercy of one referral doctor?
So well, this might surprise people because I think we're mostly known for like the digital marketing, like website stuff, but like we do have a physician marketing program and we where we will actually go book you meetings with local physicians, build an office, like build a list of offices tailored to kind of your the insurances you take and just kind of different things about you. And we built that because again, we're a sleep marketing agency, not a digital marketing agency for sleep. That's our kind of internal, that's how we talk to our employees about what we are and like what we do here. And so we felt like we would be a completely incomplete option if we couldn't help build physician referral relationships.
Sure,
And because the reality is, there are no I don't think there are any like really big practices that are really big that like don't have really strong, healthy physician pipelines.
sure,
They also have really strong digital presence as well, but like there's really nothing that scales quite like physician marketing. And it's like the gold standard for like the reason and why people talk about it so much on stage. And the but it is so hard. like like it is colossally difficult when you're a business owner like trying to treat patients and like handle things and talk and like have patients and like do all this stuff and then go out to like be a basically a door-to-door salesman is like not what most
yeah,
people signed up to do, right? And so like how I talk about this is like, okay, first of all, you should have a sleep brand regardless, right? Because then we're going to brand all your materials. You're going to have a folder. You're going to have your brag book, like with your kind of pre and post AHI readings and like how successful you've been and like the appliance I used and all that, and kind of you're going to give them sleepiness scales to hand out to patients, and you're going to have all these materials, and they should all say sleep on them, and they should have your status and all the stuff. And um, oh gosh, lost train of thought. And so uh, the difference, so we think like the digital marketing aspect of this is what works very quickly. I will turn on Google Ads and I will get patients the next day because it's just flipping a light. Google will take my money, and as long as I have the right keywords and website pages and content and stuff, like
Sure.
I can get patients very quickly. And so that works really great to like fund the practice up front and like get things rolling.
Hmm.
The downside is if I at some point if I want more patients, I typically have to give Google or Facebook or somebody more money, right?
Sure.
Like it
Hmm.
doesn't scale quite as well unless you, I mean, you have to put a lot of money into it to get a lot out of it, basically over time,
Sure.
right? So that's where like physician marketing has the pros that like if I get 3 to 4 good relationships and they can, I mean, they start sending 10, 20 a month, like it scales really well because you're not having to put marketing dollars into those relationships every month. You're putting in communication time, gifting. You might show up every so often, like, but it's far cheaper at, you know, scale than digital marketing ends up being. But to get there is a ton of work and takes forever, right? And so you have to first of all, you have to build your list. You have to know like who are good candidates to go to. Everyone assumes, oh, I'm going to go to the pulmonologist or the sleep labs or something like that. But like, guess what? So did everybody else, and so did like the big competitor in your area. Like they've got that locked up already. Like really, you should be going after lower hanging fruit, people that aren't people not thinking of, bariatric surgeons, weight loss clinics. If you're not like fully in network, concierge medical clinics are all good options. Those people are used to paying out of pocket. And then everything with like anything weight loss related is a good place to go and to try. And because they may not be as high volume, they may not even be screening. I mean, they may be screening lightly right now, but like they see all of the comorbidities right in front of them.
Hmm.
And so if you can start to get, you may get lower volume, but there's going to be less competition. There's going to be less friction. They're going to be more likely to start sending you cases a little sooner. And so that really helps you kind of get some quick wins, right?
Hmm.
Which is really what we need, right? When we're spending that much time and effort in something that's new that we're probably bootstrapping a lot of times for
Hmm.
everybody, like it's pretty important to get some quick wins, if not just like financially, but like gosh, like mentally, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so and then from there you can kind of start, okay, like now I've got that going. Now I can kind of roll this into other offices that may be like higher volume, right? And then you kind of start to, that's how you really build the pipelines. And then you kind of have both things going at the same time. And that's a point where, okay, now I can maybe, I don't have to have a dental patient pipeline anymore or something like that, So we think it's really critical to be building those up. But like you said, you can't just one and done it. Like you can't just have one and be like, great, like that's all I need because like those guys
Yeah.
retire, right? Like things happen. There's all kinds of just like you really need to have diversity in your patient flow. Um, Not just like within, hey, within physician marketing, I don't just want 1 or 2 doctors. I should really have like 3 or 4 because all I know is that one of these like they're going to retire or something's going to happen and then I'm going to lose that pipeline. And if that means I lose my whole business, that's a very vulnerable place to be, right?
Sure.
Similar, like you don't just want to rely on only physician referrals either. Like you probably want to have a pretty healthy like digital pipeline as well, just in case, just to have that, right? As well as you don't just want to have digital marketing pipelines because I don't know, Google decides to charge more per click and it hurts your campaign or something like that. Like now you're hurting that 1 month, right?
Sure.
And you don't have anything to fall back on. And so it's really, really important. I think it's just general business advice. Like you should never have all your eggs in one basket. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's not
Sure.
just for sleep. That's for dental. That's for anything you would really, any business like would probably know, hey, I don't want to have all of my eggs in the search engine marketing bucket. Like I need to have, social going. I need to have physician marketing going.
Yeah.
I need to be engaging my dental patients. Um,
Yeah.
so I think these pieces all work together really well,
Simultaneously.
like provide security.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. That is so great. Much of the sell happens in the room. When you're trying to get a hesitant patient to say yes, how much does it help to actually show them a well-made device? This is kind of back to what we were talking about earlier. Share real case studies or signal that you work with a quality lab. Um, Plug there.
Yeah.
How should a practice use that on the website, in the operatory, and their marketing materials to build trust and case acceptance?
Yeah, I think the challenge here is that like people outside of the sleep world like don't know like who knows what patient knows what the quality labs are,
Yeah,
right? Like
no, I agree.
so I think that some of the challenges like we know all the things and we know all the terms and we can say, well, this,
Yeah,
treatment appliance reduces AHI by like 50x and rather than the other one,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And they kind of just gloss over, right? And so I think first, like showing, like you said, we already talked about this, like showing the appliance and showing like a really
Hmm.
well made one showcases how easy and like it is to use and how much better and easier the treatment's going to be to use and eases a lot of the concerns
Hmm.
about usage and is this going to be worth my money basically.
Sure.
And then having case studies, I mean having so like a lot of our clients do like video case studies with other patients. That's really helpful. Getting reviews, of
Hmm.
course, assuming you have the right like release, social media releases signed with patients,
Oh, sure.
right? Because posting a video of them talking about how they have sleep apnea online is like kind of a HIPAA violation unless you like get their
Yeah,
permission, right? And
sure.
so, gosh, Dr. Suzanne Tai had a good talk about that at Transform one year.
Okay.
Having those releases is really important. But then, yes, those are really good. Like, oh, hey, this is a person like me that got the treatment and is really happy with it, and so that's really helpful to have.
Hmm.
Um, for physicians, we call it our brag book, where it's like now you can get into the numbers and showcase like
Oh, yeah,
ODI reductions and
sure.
they will know, hey, we always put in the notes section like you should put what like appliance you used because they might
Hmm.
recognize, oh, you use True Function appliance, like that's good. Okay, you use good
Yeah,
stuff. You're not like I don't want to call it anybody. So like we'll just leave it there. But like you didn't use the cheap appliance. Basically, like I'm not going to send my
right.
patient to you. So
Yeah,
like with the so as I'm talking, it's like the names that we all know and stuff, and like are really good with physicians, right? Like telling the
yeah,
physician
yeah,
that I don't use like a bottom of the barrel cheap appliance because I'm just trying to sell this and like no, I actually care enough to like
sure.
invest in my patients is um
Yeah.
I think really critical to showcase to them. With
Hmm.
patients, it's more I think you're talking about benefit language, like which is
Yeah.
a really
Oh, for
important topic
sure.
in marketing, right? It's like no,
Hmm.
you're gonna like not you're gonna be able to sleep in your bed again with your
Hmm.
wife. You're gonna have a lot more energy during the day to like be better in meetings, and you're gonna need to like drink less coffee to like just hang out, right? Just like be a
Hmm.
person. You're gonna live longer, like hang out more with your grandkids. I mean, there's all these benefits, but then that's when they're in the chair, like that's where kind of you know, you have to know your client, know your patient, right?
Hmm.
Like you have to build the relationship with them and kind of heard all the things. Why are they there? Why did they seek treatment?
Yeah.
Are they forced to
Sales
be there?
training over just, just
Yeah, it's
treating.
emotional
Yeah.
intelligence stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you really have to
Sure.
ask the questions first to
Hmm.
understand their individual pain points,
Hmm.
and maybe they're an athlete, right? Like it's everyone thinks
Yeah.
about the 65 and older person, but like no, like athletes are getting treated a lot because it helps them with performance. And
Hmm.
so I think understanding their pain points early on just by asking questions
Acute
then really
simply.
helps later on when you're showing them all this and like this is what you wanted. Like this is what's going to
Sure.
help you get to where you wanted to go, wherever
Sure.
that is.
Sure. Yeah, I actually created, and I think you have something similar if I'm not mistaken. On our store on our website, it's just a simple trifold catalog, but it's designed for patients, specifically teaching them like what a dorsal is or what is a true herpes device, like what is sleep apnea, how it affects them, how the device works for them. You know what I mean? Just really breaking it down, very simplified. Um, because these patients don't know, you know what I mean? They don't know. And it's really educating them on, they can look at a device all day long, but they don't know what that does and how it helps and what is actually causing them to not sleep at night. They don't know that moving the jaw forward can help, all of these elements that, so he created this trifold specifically. Like, it's just like something simple, but it's just really educating the patient and making them knowledgeable on what's happening. Because I think too, like we had discussed, so much of it is they just don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Use
so if it,
there's some demonstrators that I'll shout out Dr. Aaron M. He makes these
oh yeah,
demonstrators to show the thing. So they work great as like marketing materials. You put them in the front of your office, like that CPAP mask, and people are like, "I thought you were a dentist. Like, what is this thing that has no teeth?" And so then you can show them like, "This is how appliance therapy works, and it moves the jaw
mm-hmm,
forward, and this is your tongue falling back and like blocking the airway, and like
mm-hmm,
zoom, like it moves forward, and right." So
yeah,
having some of those like demonstration tools are really cool.
yeah,
We have our dental sleep marketing kit. We have two of them, the one big one, one
oh
small
perfect,
one. And
okay,
so they're really, I think they're really helpful in like not only making your patients aware that you treat sleep apnea, but then also
the
demonstrating
conversation
how it
starter.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if a patient, or excuse me, if a dentist has a modest budget and wants the highest leverage first move, where do you tell them to start? And is it just as important? What should they stop wasting money on?
Is that if they have a modest budget and they're
What
just
is the
starting,
first move? Yeah.
they're just starting. I mean, it's screening your dental patients is kind of
Mm-hmm.
the maybe the lame answer, but like it is the
And
right answer,
following.
right? Because like I don't know, like yeah, sure. I love to work with you, but also, you know, you're as a business owner, like you should do the thing that is like the easiest, cheapest thing to get started with, and then grow from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why we made a dental sleep marketing kit, is because like the first pipeline is not physicians or direct to patient. That's a lot of work and a lot of effort for somebody that is maybe is just getting started, right? Like, no, the most obvious, like lowest cost to acquire patient is in your chair already. And
Mm-hmm.
so you need to be screening them and then having like materials around the office that makes your patients aware that are doing this. I think people are surprised a lot of, oh yeah, like you treat sleep like I have that. I've had that for
Mm-hmm.
10 years.
Yeah.
And then like you wait, well, how do you have it treated? And they're like CPAP. I'm like, do you like
Mm-hmm.
it? Like, no, I hate it. It's like, well, like the
Right.
guy it just happens, right? Like it's just there. And
Right.
so but like you don't know unless you ask and put it in front of
Yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
so that's why, kind of we developed all the, materials like I said, the trifolds,
Mm-hmm.
posters, social media posts, like flyers you can send home with people, like just kind of
Mm-hmm.
easy email blasts, like this
Mm-hmm.
easy stuff that's like really affordable that'll help you start to work to get those like two patients a month,
Mm-hmm.
get the most importantly, like get the process down of like
Mm-hmm.
in office. Again, we talked about like your staff is used to doing dental things, and now this is like kind of a new thing. Their new questions answered. If I send you like 30 cold patients from the web, or like a physician starts sending patients and they start getting like not the best results because you're just getting started, you're kind of working the kinks out, like you're burning the bridge too early. Like no, start
Mm-hmm.
on your dental patients that know you, trust you. You don't spend a
Yeah.
bunch of money in marketing efforts. Like, get that going, get the staff, everything in place, get buy-in from your staff, make sure everyone feels good about everything, work out the kinks. Every business has little, the process kinks you got to work out when you're just starting something. And so, like, do that first, and
Mm-hmm.
then, and then at that point, you can really, then at that point, you basically have like a stop sign of like, hey, do I want to keep doing this? Like, is this fun? Is
Mm-hmm.
this rewarding? And like, what's the vision here? Like, am I wanting to do this with my dental office? Am I wanting to hire an associate from my dental office to handle this so I can do sleep full time, but like keep the dental practice going? Or do I want to, I mean, or am I just in love with this and I just want to go sleep only, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Those are very different. There's very different next steps for
Mm-hmm.
those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's really the way. I think that's the responsible and like I said, most like affordable
Yeah.
way to get started.
Sure. And I hear a lot of like a way to keep track of your leads and a way and making sure you're following up with those leads too. So, it's great you're screening your patients and things like that, but maybe they're not ready today, like we have mentioned. So, you know, not taking no for an answer on the first try, that's going to make a huge difference with converting, you know what I mean? And really starting that. And that's an easy way to, kind of take it from getting everything organized. The next step from there is making sure you have a good protocol, to follow up and things like that. So yeah, that sounds great. So once a lead comes in, the front desk often makes or breaks it, right? So what does the practice need to have in place? The follow-up, the consult conversation, who handles it? So people raising their hand or they're interested actually book.
So yeah, typically if you can, you're gonna assign someone that is your sleep champion, right? Like
Yeah.
they're in charge
Mhm.
of handling kind of all things sleep. They're the go-tos on answering questions that are maybe more difficult. They're handling scheduling. I mean, they're the ones, and I think other people may have better answers, like other coaches than I do. But I think it always helps to have like a go-to person in the office that is like they're the sleep person. They're the one that's passionate about it. Um, we hired Anastasia to do our physician program, and that was kind of her role at the beginning of her
Mhm.
career. And they're the one that's there. If the dentist can't go out to the office, like that person goes out, right, and
Mhm.
starts getting those
And give this
physician
person an
referrals.
incentive to convert these leads, not just have them have an incentive that it's worth it for them to convert them as well. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
mean to interrupt,
yeah.
but
Any
that
sort of
makes
like
a big difference.
incentive, I agree. Yeah, anything that can incentivize them to go out, especially with the physician outreach stuff, is going to get you a lot better results. Um, then yeah, having incentive programs is always really great for that. Absolutely.
Mhm. So for the dentists who want to be recognized as a sleep authority in their market a year from now, what should they be doing consistently and what should they realistically expect along the way? That's our last question today.
Ooh, okay. So, I think if you want to be recognized as an authority in your local area,
Mm-hmm.
that was the question?
In your
Okay.
local market, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's a couple different ways. So I think the best thing you can do as a business is always like reviews and video testimonials from
Mhm.
your customers and being able to
Yeah.
kind of showcase those successful results consistently is really that's like probably the most beneficial thing you can do to get more out of all of your marketing efforts. Like anything you're doing, if you can show that pretty like widely, that is going to help more than anything else with everything else you're doing. Um, there is some level of like, we talk about direct to patient and we're talking about physician outreach. I think there's like some world where if you can get involved in your community in some
Sure.
way, so um, I there's like a random one like with job fairs that I've seen people do that are
Hmm.
really helpful. Like if you're in network for an insurance at a company, uh, or like you're in network for insurance like a lot of people have in the area, like start going to like local like health fairs and
Hmm.
job fair events. Um, will get you like more patients than you think for like probably less money than you'd think. Again, you have to
Hmm.
have the insurance part is important. But yeah, like people come up and you can explain everything that you do and you start to like be known at these events and so that's like a really good way for people to start to, kind of showcase who you are and get some notoriety in the area. And then I think it kind of building the networks with the physicians as well. If you kind of know, like I said, I think starting if you can get early successes with like bariatric surgeons and kind of like things that people aren't thinking about as much. Like those guys all talk, right? They're all in the same buildings.
Yeah.
And so hopefully the idea is that at some point if you showcase like I've done really good work for Dr. Jones 4 floors down. Um I think that really builds a lot of and they can actually call that guy, Dr. Jones, like, hey, is this guy legit? And they can say, oh yeah, like he's great. I send my patients to him like that is the best. Okay, now and that's the best way you start moving, you know,
Hmm.
and getting more and it's now you're getting more warm introductions instead of just like having to convince people like who you are basically
Hmm.
is like, oh yeah, yeah, sorry, I work with Dr. Joe. Oh yeah, I know him. Like he's great. Like so I think it's an easier way to open the relationship and just be more well known is if you are obviously like the more physicians that you work with, the more doors that's going to open for you.
Sure.
But if you're always beating down like the biggest door and it's not opening, well then I have, how do I haven't been able to showcase my work at all. So
Sure.
I think we talk a lot about like let's get some, go to where not everyone zig where everyone else is zagging, kind of
Yeah.
go to where everyone else isn't. Get them to send you that one patient,
Hmm.
right? Do a great job on that one patient. This is kind of
Hmm.
the patient's thing, like what to expect, right? Like just one patient, and you're gonna have all these objections. Well, go to sleep center is they're great. They've been here a long time. Like,
Hmm.
well, they're on the west side of you, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm on the east side of you. Any patients that are on the east side of you, like try me for
Yeah.
one, right?
Or
What's the
offer
back?
to treat a patient or treat someone in that office as well. I see that that helps as well. You know what I mean? Where it's like, let me treat your front desk person here. You know what I mean? Or someone that's right in connection with that clinician.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, I think we always emphasize just, hey, I'm not asking for all your patients. I'm
Hmm.
asking for one patient, and then it's all you focus on. Like, and you get that patient through the process, and you do a great job on them, and then you go back to the doctor and be like, these are the results I got, and you make
Yeah.
sure that patient tells the doctor about the results. That's when you start to get a lot. That's when you build the trust, and now you get a lot
Yeah.
more, right? But it
Yeah.
takes a while, so you got to be patient.
Yes.
Uh, and so, yeah, that's where digital kind of helps keep things going while you're kind of working that one patient. But then, yeah, once you get a few of those through, that's when things really start to get exciting. And
Hmm.
now you kind of actually, you can decrease some of your digital marketing if you've got that kind of flow going and build the business
Hmm.
really well. And you get higher, you get higher acceptance rates. A lot of times, we talked all about how like sleep is annoying, not painful, and everything. Like for physicians, like physician patients, like people tend to do what their doctor tells them to do, right?
Yeah.
Like the conversion rates are
Hmm.
higher. They just are. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of getting them. So
Sure.
I think this mix, there's all these pros and cons to all these things, and just kind of knowing, I think the order in which to do them, like we kind of talked about, is I think really critical to success and or like not getting frustrated. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you were saying with the expecting along the way, I think you answered that question really well of like, it takes a while. Like it is not something that happens overnight. And it takes a while for those clinicians to start speaking to each other. So be patient and don't let off the gas. That is huge.
Mm.
We have a question here. Hi, Dr. Lawrence Pumble. What is the number one piece of advice you would give someone trying to start a sleep practice by subleasing an operatory at an office? Consider these patients in the dental chairs aren't yours, so they aren't necessarily right in front of you. So she's only doing sleep at an operatory that she's running in a dental office.
Interesting. Okay, so that's okay. So you have an address. You're only doing dental sleep medicine. So that's where like building the sleep brand and
Mm-hmm.
website and the like you can have your own Google business page in that office. Uh just you're a sleep clinic, they're a dental office, and so you can kind of have your own set of listings online to like get visibility like online that way. And so that's really important to do. You're going to have to get a sign on the door. And so I hope that that person's okay with that. I mean, I would assume they are if you're subleasing it. But so that's like the easiest way to get like digital started. Again, if you're only doing dental sleep medicine. Um, and then how do you, considering those patients in the dental chairs aren't yours, so they aren't necessarily in front of you. I mean, if that's where like, I mean, I would hope that there's a really good relationship with that dentist and asking them like, are you like, does that dentist treat sleep? I would if they do, then okay, then yeah, you kind of can't like work with their patients because they're going to treat those patients for sleep. But it's like, hey, no, like here's the screening tools, right? Like let me
Mm-hmm.
put some stuff in your office. Like how can I assist you? In I think you said they don't do
They
sleep.
don't.
Okay, so perfect. So like that's easy, right? I mean, it's just okay, like they're in there, yes, but like here's the screening tools. Like here, would you be willing to give every patient a Epworth? right? And
Hmm.
anybody that tests, X, that's this high or whatever, I'd love to treat them and talk about a sleep test for them. And I don't know how that arrangement like would need to work out kind of business wise, but I mean that's a pretty easy like you can get them to you. I mean, I know a lot of office. There's a model that like people would put sleep champions in other doctors' offices, and they were kind of like the sleep person in those offices, and they would handle screening and testing and everything, and they would literally plant these employees in offices. Um, so like again, I don't know what the business relationships look like there, but it's a it's a very there's very straightforward ways uh and again, you're not a threat to them. Like they're a dental office,
Hmm.
you're a sleep person, so they don't have to worry about you taking their patients. So it should be a very good like symbiotic relationship there to be able to and as you're getting patients from the web, like they might see they're walking to a dental office and they might need a new dentist, and then you can refer back to your dentist.
Hmm.
So I think there's a really good symbiotic relationship there. If you can give them the materials and tools to screen all their dental patients, and then but you can kind of create your own, kind of digital presence online from that office and from that office basically.
And maybe they'll let you even put like a trifold, like we had talked about, in the waiting room, for those patients that are sitting there waiting, and it might strike conversation, and they can just
Yeah.
refer directly to you. Yeah, yeah, that's or even the demos or things like that that strike up conversation. That's a good question.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you, Lane. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I'm going to close out here. So if there's any follow-up questions, you still have just a couple more minutes. So go ahead and put those in that question and answer box if you have any lingering questions. We're so grateful to have you joining us tonight. And I know a lot of familiar faces. So, every month we love to see those reoccurring attendees. Feel free again to put in the chat box too if there's anything you'd like us to cover, any topics that you're really curious on. We're happy to take that into consideration. We will also be sending out the recording of this webinar. So if you in the registration email that you provided for the webinar, you'll get the recording, I would say, in about a week from now. So keep an eye out for that if you want to go back and reference that at all. Next month, we are going to host our webinar on July 21st. Again, same time. It will be with Dr. Kabaria, more of a clinical-based lecture style webinar. So we'll get the details out soon for that. So check out on our education page on truefunction.com where you can register. We'll also send it out on an email and on our socials. So you'll be able to see that there. So join us again on July 21st next month for our next webinar. And we thank you all again for joining us, Lane, and we're so appreciative to have you join us, of course, as well, and share your knowledge with our clinicians. It's always so helpful for them to kind of see, a different aspect of, kind of getting away from clinical and really focusing on the practice side of things. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the invite. Looking forward to
Yeah,
doing it again.
of course. Excellent. Sounds good. Well, I'll talk to you soon. And hopefully we'll see each other at a meeting soon. And everyone have a wonderful evening. And hopefully we'll see you again July 21st. All right. Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
everyone.